Welcome back to the Gambling Chef Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a Japanese-inspired rice bowl. Now, rice bowls have exploded in popularity over the last 10 years or so, and they are available all over the place, but they're also very easy to make at home. I'm going to give you a basic blueprint for how I like to make my rice bowl, and then you can take that and run with it and do whatever you want. So let's get started making our Japanese rice bowl. Okay, so let's make the marinade. It is very simple. There are just a couple of ingredients. So we've got 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I've got a teaspoon and a half of grated fresh ginger. Just grated it on a microplane grater, so much easier than chopping. This is a tablespoon of vegetable oil. You could also use peanut oil, but for Asian flavors, you don't want to use stuff like olive oil. And then we've got a teaspoon and a half of sugar, 1 teaspoon of rice wine vinegar. This is a Japanese style vinegar made out of rice wine, and it is quite tasty and perfect for these flavors here. And this is a teaspoon of mirin, and mirin is actually a rice wine, and you could use, it's kind of a sweet wine, and you could also use sake in this. So those are the marinade ingredients, and then we also add 2 whole scallions that I've chopped up. So it's pretty simple. Some of the ingredients you might not have in your cabinet, like the rice wine or the rice wine vinegar or the mirin, but they're very easy to find in most supermarkets. I try not to give you guys stuff that you wouldn't be able to find. So I'm just stirring this around so we can get that sugar dissolved. And that looks fine to me. And now all I'm gonna do is add our chicken thighs. This is about 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. There's some real tiny ones in this package, which is kind of funny. But if you want to make more, you could add, I think this marinade recipe honestly probably could handle another pound or so of meat. But you can also see that it's not tons and tons of liquid in the bottom of the bowl. It's, pretty light on the liquid. So you could definitely make more. But when we're making an Asian rice bowl, you're not relying just on the protein to fill you up. And we are going to actually also make a little omelet for this too. So all I'm gonna do is leave this at room temperature. I'm gonna cover it with some plastic wrap, and we're gonna let this marinate for an hour before we put it in the oven. While our chicken is marinating, I like to get started on our sunamono, which is a lightly pickled cucumber salad. So I have my mandolin slicer here, and I've got it set on a 2 because you want this pretty thin. I've got an English cucumber here. I'm gonna leave the skin on, and I'm just going to get this sliced into the thin slices that we're looking for. And you want to make sure that you don't turn the cucumber. You don't want these to get diagonal. You want these to be nice and round. So I'm being very deliberate about keeping my cucumber right side up and not turning it. And this is about the thickness that we're looking for. They're very thin. I have my slicer set on a 2 because they're going to do a really quick pickle. So I'm going to get the rest of this sliced, and then I will show you how to make the pickling liquid. To our beautiful cucumbers, I am going to add 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, just regular white sugar, 2 tablespoons of the rice wine vinegar that we added to the chicken marinade. This is really like the crucial ingredient in this because you really need that tangy, acidic vinegar flavor. And then about a teaspoon of toasted black sesame seeds. And those give it that nice look and texture as well. So I'm going to stir this up, and you're going to look at it and go, wait, are you crazy? Because there's barely any liquid in there. And there are all these cucumbers, and how is that gonna work? And I promise you, I'm gonna switch to my hands, that once this sits for even just a few minutes, you're gonna see the liquid start to come out of these cucumbers. One of the other reasons to use your hands, I was trying to be too dainty with a spoon, is you can separate the cucumber slices and really get everything in there. And you can also use a bigger bowl than I'm using. I like to use these containers because then I can just pop a top on it and throw it in the fridge, and then I don't get lots of stuff dirty. That's just me. Like, I don't have a dishwasher in the house that I'm living in right now, and it's just save myself the extra time of doing the dishes. So this is, again, going to actually do a nice quick pickling. I read recipes where people salt the cucumber first and then you add the other stuff, and I tried that, and really the cucumbers got super wilty super fast, and I didn't like it. And I actually think that after even just like 5 or 10 minutes, the cucumbers done this way get really, really nice, and it is going to exude plenty of liquid for you, I promise. So we're gonna let this beautiful cucumber salad or sunamono sit, and we are going to get our chicken into the oven. Our chicken has finished marinating, and I am going to get this into a 400-degree oven for 30 minutes. And while that's cooking, I'm going to show you how to make a couple of our other side dishes. So I will see you in just a minute. I have a very hot cast iron pan here because I'm going to make a little omelet. So I have 2 eggs that I have beaten, and we are going to carefully scrape part of the omelet off the bottom when it has cooked. You can see it'll pull away from the side, and then I'm going to pour more of the egg on that part. It doesn't have to be perfect. Mine is coming out not perfect, of course, because I'm filming. Loves to do that to me. Oh, story of my life. But the goal in the end is actually going to be to scrape this, and we're making a little rolled omelet. So we're going to just gently, we don't want this to get too brown. We're going to gently roll it and get it at the bottom of the pan there to finish cooking. I'm going to turn the heat off. And the lighting's a little weird right now because I'm filming at night, so I apologize about that. Okay, I think I fixed the lighting for you so you can see our omelet is done. I'm going to get this out of the pan, and we're going to work on our next component. We're going to cook some shiitake mushrooms next. So shiitake mushrooms, to prepare these, you pull off the stem, and then I'm going to cut this in quarters. So in go our mushrooms. And we are actually not going to salt these until they have browned a little bit. I found that with certain types of mushrooms like these guys, they're a little bit touchy. If you pre-salt them, it can change the texture a little bit. So we're just going to let these guys get nice and brown. I have this on a medium-high heat, and I'll see you back in just a minute because our mushrooms are going to get brown and delicious. Very excited about. I love shiitake mushrooms, by the way. They are probably my favorite mushroom because they have such a delicious flavor. So I am looking forward to eating these guys. All right, I wanted to show you these guys. They are pretty much ready to go. I have the heat pretty high. I like a good color on my mushrooms. I'm actually going to turn the heat off now. And I did put salt in the pan, which you can see on the camera. And I'm going to set these aside, and we're going to do our final component for our rice bowl. And then we are ready to eat. So exciting. This is the final component that I'm going to show you. And I just grated a large carrot on just a box grater like you'd use for cheese. And I'm just going to drizzle some sesame oil on this. Not a lot. This is very strong. There's a reason that we are only using sesame oil in this one dish because that flavor just goes everywhere. And then I am going to sprinkle this with some kosher salt and give it a stir. And that is it Once our chicken gets out of the oven, I am just going to cut it into strips, and then I am going to assemble a rice bowl, and I am going to see you back when that has been completed, and we're gonna taste together. I cannot wait. I think you're really gonna love this. Well, I think that this looks pretty darn beautiful, and I really do hope you try this at home. It's not hard to make, and it's really healthy. You can serve this with a peanut dipping sauce or some soy sauce and wasabi, whatever you want. But let's take a taste. I'm going in for the shiitake mushroom. I think I can't get everything on my fork to start off with, so. Delicious. The crunch from the cucumbers and the pickled flavor. You can see how much these have softened up in just a short amount of time. Then we have got our beautiful sesame carrots. And of course, I will take a piece of chicken. I think that I did myself proud with this one. Please check this recipe out on thegamblingchef.com, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook, and I'm also on Instagram, and I will see you guys next time.